Hello. In this short video, I'm going to talk you through how to handle forage and grazing crops on Farmbench. As you can see, we've set up an example farm for this case and have beef finishers, a sheep flock, suckler herd and suckler replacement livestock enterprises. In Farmbench, we treat forage crops as enterprises in their own right. So outputs in form of grazing and conserved harvested crop are entered and costs attributed to growing and harvesting are captured to get a cost of production for growing that crop. The next step then is to allocate the grazing, livestock, silage, hay to the livestock enterprises and also include any forage sales. To do this, we enter forages in the following way. Go into the drop-down box in the enterprise setup and you'll see the crops. That'll be the combinable crops, cash crops. There's also a section for forage, so we select them from these and you can see there's a wide variety of forages we can choose from, grass, forage, maize and such like, and there's also an option for other forage crops, such things like sainfoin or perhaps cereals and peas mix, whatever you have on the farm which isn't in the above list. So in this example, we've already put in some permanent pasture. So when you go into this, you give the pasture or grazing or whatever it is a title, give it a name and the area which it is, and fill in this as an enterprise setup. So whether it's conventional, organic, soil texture, and importantly is the ownership option. So if it's long-term or let, but also you can choose to be a short-term or let away from home. That would be like a grass keep or a standing crop. So if we look in the short-term or let away from home in this example, we would put in the actual cost of that short-term let away from home. And likewise with standing crop, we put in the cost. If we choose the long-term let or owned, the cost of the rent will come up later in the cost section. You also then have options to classify the land and whether you want to record the grazing in dry matter kilos or grazing weeks. You also need to include the area harvested in that particular year for the hay, any clamp silage, baled silage and any cut and carry. This section here includes any cultivations you might do, say for reseeds or for actually planting maize, if that's the enterprise you're doing. The grass maintenance is an enterprise, a part of the enterprise which is to do with any topping or chain harrowing or rolling and so on. And treatment passes are included for fertilizer passes or any sprays that you might do on the crop. So you save it as an enterprise setup. If you want to add stubble turnips, click on the stubble turnips and click add and give it a title. In this case it's 5 hectares. Conventional sandy clay loam and ownership, it's long-term let, non-SDA, harvested, it's grazed. And there's an extra question here, is this a double use of land? So if it's a catch crop, it's a yes, and then grazing weeks. And 5 hectares of medium cultivation and medium drilling. In this case, treatment passes 1. Once we've done that and we've set up our different crops, we can go into the production side. And here you can see we've already set up a 2-year grass lay and the permanent pasture. So if we dive into the 2-year grass lay, you've already told the system that you have clamp silage, baled silage and grazing on the system. And in this place you can enter in what you've produced and who ate the forage. That's for the clamp and also the same for the baled and the grazing. The grazing page looks like this. We have a separate video available to explain how to record livestock grazing and forage. Now, I hope this has explained this, and if you'd like further assistance, please get in touch with your regional benchmarking knowledge exchange manager. I'll be pleased to help.